House Calls.
It's time now for House Calls with the Kingery team of Mountain to Lake Realty.
Keep it here for market insights, featured guests, and answers to your real estate questions.
Here are your hosts, Steve Furrow and Julie Kingery.
Hey. Here we are with some house calls. Yeah. House calls. Saturday morning. Happy to be with you. The Kingery team here. We are bringing you the latest and greatest in the real estate market. And Miss Julie is out and about doing her thing, and she's not able to be here with us today. So we have recruited Miss Kimberly Davenport one more time to try to keep us on the straight and narrow here this Saturday, Valentine's Day weekend. Kimberly, how are you?
I am well, Steve.
Oh, yeah? And you are with who again?
Virginia Mountain Mortgage.
Mm-hmm.
Division of Bank of Botetourt. NMLS number 276534. Virginia Mountain Mortgage, a division of Bank of Botetourt. MLS 476841. Equal housing lender. Member FDIC.
You took the words right out of my mouth there. Kimberly, we talk about everything real estate. Remind us again, for those that maybe weren't with us last week, you do what?
I do mortgages.
All day?
Every day.
And
twice on Sunday.
Oh, man, there we go. There we go. It's great. That is great. So, everyone is curious. Valentine's Day, are you a flowers kind of girl? Are you sweets? What's your pleasure?
Oh, my goodness. Well, I love flowers as well as some nice dark chocolate.
Dark chocolate.
Dark chocolate.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. It is the best on fruit, caramels, and nuts, too.
It reminds me of shrimp there. I was thinking about that for a minute. But anyway, we're going to move right on along.
Okay.
What's going on? Kimberly, you got any words of wisdom with the real estate market? Have you any takeaways from this week? You know, last week we talked about inventory. We had a little bit of a lull here from an inventory standpoint. What are you saying about rates? What would you say to us about mortgage rates?
Right now they are holding their own, meaning we're not seeing them going up, but they're kind of holding in a pattern 6.25 to 6.5 range at this point. Again, I do believe the market is poised to possibly see it go down a bit in the spring, later in the spring. But at this point, I think throughout this 2026 year, we're not going to see a major drop in interest rates.
So we're not going to see 4% interest rate by June, July.
I don't believe that is where the market's going to take us.
Oh, man,
No.
you paused just like she was like.
It is poised for another refinance boom. If we do see rates in the fives, I do believe we're going to see, that come about again. But at this point, that just remains to be seen.
All right, so Ms. Kimberly, with all that you know, I'm going to ask you a question. Just give us your honest opinion. Rates will go up or down in 2026?
I believe they'll go down. Mm-hmm.
I like it. Guys, last week we talked about home sales, and I give you some snapshots there. We're going to talk a little bit about land and kind of recap what went on in January of 2026. About 50 parcels of land traded hands in January of 2026, and that would be Greater Roanoke Valley, Henry, Patrick, Martinsville area. If you were to compare that to a year ago, we were just shy of 70. So we're down a little bit in land sales in 2026 compared to a year ago. And of course, if you were to look at 5 years ago, the market was moving, humming along really well. We were about 90 land parcels that traded hands in January of 2021. So I think, when I give you all that and try to unpack it, we think about the market. I think the market slowed down in January when we were looking at maybe where it had been a year ago, or even looking at where it was in like October, November, just 3-4 months ago. So I think the market has slowed down some. Some of that is, it happens every year.
Yes.
When you think about Christmas, Thanksgiving, New Year's, we do see that slow down in the market. And I think that's, we're seeing that in the data here.
Yes.
That's a traditional sort of happens every time. Would you disagree with me, Kimberly?
I do not disagree with that.
Would you say if you were to compare, let's just say the last couple of months of construction loans to the previous, I mean, you're saying uptick in those things?
Absolutely.
Okay.
Yes, you have to get in line at this point with builders, and sometimes they're up to a year to a year and a half out before they'll even be able to get you in to break ground.
Okay. And not to take, we're kind of taking off subject here,
Sorry.
but I'm all, we're going to stay with this because I'm curious. What is the process with a construction loan? If I'm coming to you, Kimberly, at Virginia Mountain Mortgage to get a construction loan, does that process differ greatly from just a residential
Traditional mortgage?
just a residential home?
Yes, it does.
Okay.
There is a lot more involved. A lot more forethought has to go into it, and a lot more planning. You've got a lot more hands in the process as well. You have builders, you have architects, you have engineers, surveyors. All of those things have to generally come into play in order for you to get your plan down to even build. You also need to look at a contingency fund out there because there's always cost overruns on any project that's ever been built.
What?
Yeah.
Cost overruns?
Cost overruns. Yes, you've got to be able to make sure that you have that in place.
So contingency fund, we got all these other people that are involved in the process.
Oh, but so much fun. It is so much fun to watch a plan put in place and watch it develop and organically come about over that next 12 months while it's being built. It's a wild, wonderful ride.
It sounds like you enjoy that a little
Very
bit.
much, very much. Again, most of people building, this has been a dream of theirs, and I get to watch that dream and be a small part of that dream come to fruition.
And you talked about the difference as far as the people involved and so forth, but we still go to your app and at Virginia Mountain Mortgage, get in your app and begin to get started with the process. That's similar?
Similar.
Okay.
That's more of a traditional type of loan where I would sit with you and walk through the steps and complete that information with you as you go through that.
Okay. Fair enough. Sounds like if I'm interested in a construction loan, just give you a call.
Yep, 540-591-5087.
Man, she's got it down, guys. She has got it down. If you've got a question that you'd like for us to address here on House Calls, just let us know. 276-629-9999. You can text us, and we'll be glad to address that question. And I think this is a great time, Ms. Kimberly, to take a break. And when we come back, we will handle the question of the week.
Sounds great, Steve.
House calls.
When it comes to buying or selling a home, you want someone who gets family because your next chapter matters.
At the Kingery team, we're not just agents. We are a family helping families.
Whether it's your first home, forever home, or anything in between, we'll walk with you every step of the way.
Local, loyal, like family.
The Kingery team, selling real estate 1 yard at a time. Located uptown Rocky Mount at 195 South Main Street. Give us a call at 540-483-5566. Hey, we're back with House Calls. We got Miss Kimberly Davenport, and this is the question of the week. Oh, Trev from the 540. Trev brings this to me. He says in a text, he says, and by the way, the text to that number, if you have a question yourself, is 276-629-9999. So, Kimberly, the question is, I recently read an article in the Wall Street Journal that discussed sales price of homes being below list price. He goes on to state that the average sales price was 8% below list price, according to the article. He says, is this true? And if so, what is it in our area? Well, first off, I want to say, Trev, great question. And reading the Wall Street Journal, I think that is that's commendable.
Yeah.
I'm sure you read, Ms. Kimberly, you read Wall Street Journal, New York Times, Roanoke Times. Mm-hmm. Are you a big reader?
I am a big reader.
Okay.
I do.
Fiction, nonfiction?
Nonfiction.
Oh, here we go. We'll stop right there. With that being said, Trev, get back to your deal. I pulled the data for this question. We talked about last week the number of homes sold in January to be about 350 homes in Roanoke Valley, Henry, Martinsville, Patrick area. About 325 homes is where we were at in that time frame. And when you look at those homes that sold, the selling price compared to list price, it was 93% difference. So 7% is what in my data set for here locally, that's what the average sales price was. It was 7% less. So I think you said 8% in Wall Street Journal. So we're close from that standpoint. And I think that's, when you look at nationally, talk about inventory growing, there's places where they talk about it is a buyer's market, not a seller's market. We've talked about this multiple times here, but I think you can say I still think we're in a seller's market. It's closer to a balanced market as much as it has been today, but I still feel like the seller still has an upper hand because inventory is still relatively low, relatively, historically speaking. Mm-hmm. So when we think about that, the 7%, I think we're going to see that number
increase.
Yes, ma'am. You took the words right out of my mouth. We're going to see it increase.
I'm seeing it.
And why would you say that, Ms. Kimberly? Why would you say we're going to see that number increase?
Due to it becoming more of a balanced market with inventory rising, they have more to choose from. So the sellers are going to have to sharpen their pencil maybe a bit more so that they can sell their home in a more balanced market. That's what has to happen. Both sides, both buyer and seller, have the ability to negotiate, and that's the best. To me, I was told by a very wise man, my father, that said the best agreement is when both parties are reasonably dissatisfied.
I think I heard you said reasonably dissatisfied.
Meaning we've both had to compromise and work through to get to the end result.
That's sage advice there. I would echo what you're saying there. I think this market has continued to appreciate.
Yes.
Since COVID, we've done nothing but march up. And so when we put homes on the market, I get people ask me all the time, well, what can I get for my house? Well, do you think I could get this? And we pull them back and we say, okay, here's the comps. Here's really where we feel like what your home is truly worth today. And so you're balancing when you put a property on the market, you're balancing kind of what we want and maybe what it's truly worth, if you will. And that's a balancing act there. But then the market, the buyer comes in and gets an opportunity to say, hey, we like your home, but we think it's worth this. And there's that dissatisfaction that you talked about, right? That's where we got to work that out.
Yep. You've got to work it out. That, to me, a contract should be negotiated. It should be a negotiated. That's what a contract's about.
Sure. No, and so I think we see some of that, and I think we're going to, as you talked about, I completely agree with you. We're going to see that number as we move along in this market. And I anticipate, just like you said, this market is fairly stable. We're barring some major event, something bigger than Valentine's Day.
Correct.
Barring some, I just think we're going to continue to see, rates are going to be fairly stable. We're going to see home prices appreciate some. It's similar to what we might see in, when thinking about inflation or those kind of things. But I think we're going to see that appreciation continue to be happening as it has in the past 5 years. Maybe not quite as quick from an appreciation standpoint, but still, I think we're going to see home values continue to increase, and that's a good thing. That's a good thing.
Well, you also want appreciation to go. We over time, it's generally appreciation is only about 3% a year. When it's hitting higher than that, again, that can overinflate the market, and that is not. It can set us up for a slowdown in the marketplace. So again, really, truthfully, 3 to 4% is really all you should appreciate. A house should appreciate in a year.
Right. Well,
year after year.
It's housing is great investment, and that's been proven. We talked about
best investment.
Sage advice. We've proven that year over year. Property is a good investment. Is a good investment, and it's something that we encourage everyone to take advantage of out there. That being said, Ms. Kimberly, I think we're going to kind of wrap things up here. You're going to find you at Virginia Mountain Mortgage.
Virginia Mountain Mortgage, a division of Bank of Botetourt.
And VirginiaMountainMortgage.com. Is that
bankofbotetourt.com?
Oh, Bank of Botetourt. Okay. Mm-hmm. Good stuff. Good stuff. If you're interested in buying or selling property, the Kingery team would love to visit with you at thekingeryteam.com. You can find our information. You can also find some of the latest and greatest listings out there. If you're a buyer and you're curious what's going on in the market, check it out, and we'll go from there. 276-629-9999. If you've got a question you'd like for us to address here on the show, we would love to hear from you. Trev, we appreciate you, big guy. I want you to stay safe out there and keep reading that Wall Street Journal. We will look forward to catching up with everyone next Saturday on House Calls. Yeah! Take care.
Thanks for listening to House Calls with the Kingery team of Mountain to Lake Realty with your hosts, Steve Furrow and Julie Kingery. If you have questions about anything discussed on today's show, text us at 276-629-9999. Join us again next Saturday at 9 for more tips, trends, and answers to your real estate questions on House Calls with the Kingery team of Mountain to Lake Realty and Southern Virginia's country station, B99.9.
House Calls.